The dawn of the Renaissance, a quiet awakening. Imagine, if you will, the gentle light of a new dawn spreading softly over the rolling hills surrounding Florence, Italy. The early morning air is cool and still, carrying a fresh promise with it, a promise of renewal, discovery, and quiet wonder. This was the beginning of the Renaissance, a time of rebirth, where the world seemed to awaken from a long, peaceful slumber. The word Renaissance means rebirth, and this era felt just like that, a soft awakening after many years of calm stillness. It was a time when people began to look anew at the world around them, noticing the delicate details that had been quietly waiting in plain sight. Artists and thinkers turned their gentle gaze to the play of light and shadow on a leaf, to the tender curve of a human face, and to the soft colors of the sky at sunset. Imagine these artists as patient observers, sitting quietly in their studios or wandering slowly through gardens and along riverbanks. They studied the world with calm attention, not rushing, but allowing their eyes to rest on the small things that bring life its quiet beauty. Each brushstroke was a gentle touch, each line drawn like a soft whisper on the canvas. Florence, the heart of this gentle awakening, was a city of peaceful charm. Picture its cobblestone streets, worn smooth by countless footsteps, winding slowly through neighborhoods where the scent of blooming flowers drifts softly in the air. The city was cradled by rivers that meandered quietly beneath old stone bridges, their waters reflecting the warm hues of the morning sun. These gentle scenes were a source of endless inspiration for the artists of the time. In Florence, the past and the present seemed to blend like the soft colors in a watercolor painting. The stories and ideas of ancient Rome and Greece lived quietly in the minds of the people, stories of gods, heroes, and the human spirit's strength and beauty. Artists sought to breathe new life into these ancient tales, but they did so with a calm reverence, painting not with loud brushstrokes or hurried lines, but with slow, thoughtful movements that invited the viewer to pause and reflect. Imagine walking through these sunlit streets yourself, feeling the coolness of the morning breeze on your skin, hearing the distant chirping of birds waking up. You might pass by small workshops where artists and thinkers gather in gentle conversation. Their voices are soft, filled with wonder and curiosity, sharing ideas like a tender melody passed between close friends. These quiet gatherings were places of gentle learning and discovery, where creativity flowed slowly and steadily, like a calm river. The artists of the Renaissance didn't rush their work. Instead, they practiced a patient dance of color and shape. Every painting, every sculpture, was a careful study of light and form, of the way the world moves in quiet harmony. Their goal was not to startle or overwhelm, but to capture the gentle essence of life itself, the soft glow of sunlight on a stone wall, the peaceful expression on a resting face, the slow unfolding of a flower in bloom. As you breathe deeply now, feel yourself walking slowly along those peaceful streets of Florence, surrounded by the soft hum of creative energy. Imagine the warm sun touching your skin, the gentle fragrance of jasmine and roses filling the air, and the quiet footsteps of others who are also lost in thought and wonder. Here, in this calm and serene place, the spirit of the Renaissance gently unfolds. This awakening was not loud or abrupt. It was a slow, peaceful return to an old, almost forgotten art, the art of truly seeing. The artists invited us to look carefully, to feel deeply, and to rest our minds on the gentle beauty of the world. It was a time to rediscover patience and mindfulness, qualities that help us find calm even in the busiest moments. Now, as you listen and let your eyes grow heavy, allow the soft light of the Renaissance to fill your thoughts. Let the slow, careful brushstrokes of these quiet artists wash over you like a soothing lullaby. With every breath, feel yourself relaxing deeper, as if you are stepping into one of those gentle paintings, becoming part of the calm scene. And as you continue to breathe slowly and peacefully, know that this quiet awakening is a reminder for you to slow down, to notice the small wonders around you, and to rest in the gentle rhythms of life. The dawn of the Renaissance invites you to drift gently towards sleep, wrapped in the soft glow of new beginnings. Good night, dear listener. May your dreams be filled with calm and quiet beauty. Leonardo da Vinci, the gentle genius. Now, let your thoughts drift to a quiet room in the heart of Renaissance Italy. A sunlit studio where the air smells faintly of parchment, wood, and fresh earth from the nearby gardens. Here, a man named Leonardo da Vinci works in silence. His movements are slow, thoughtful, unhurried. Leonardo's mind was like a soft, flowing river, wide and still, yet endlessly deep. Within it swirled questions, dreams, and quiet observations. He looked at the world not just with his eyes, but with a calm curiosity that reached into every small detail. From the gentle arc of a bird's wings to the way light settled across a sleeping face. He was more than a painter. He was a thinker, a dreamer, a man who saw beauty in every small movement of nature. He studied the human body not to conquer it, but to understand its grace. He watched clouds not to name them, but to follow their slow drifting patterns. Imagine Leonardo now, sitting at his desk in that peaceful studio. The windows are open and a warm breeze stirs the edges of parchment. He leans forward, eyes soft with wonder, as he begins a gentle sketch. His hand glides slowly across the paper, not rushed, never hurried. Each line is a whisper. Each stroke is a breath. He may be drawing a feather, or a smile, or the delicate curve of a flower's petal. Among his many works, one painting stands in still, quiet beauty. The Mona Lisa. She does not shout for attention. She waits. Her smile is soft, like a memory or a secret only shared when the world is still. Her eyes seem to follow you, not to judge, but to witness, gently. Leonardo painted her with layer upon layer of care, over many years, never rushing the process. To him, art was not about finishing. It was about seeing, deeply, slowly, patiently. But Leonardo's curiosity did not end with paint. He turned his quiet attention to everything. He studied how water curved around a rock, how leaves turned toward the sun, how birds caught the wind with wings designed by nature's hand. To him, everything was connected, and everything deserved to be seen. Picture his notebooks now, page after page of careful drawings and gentle thoughts. Strange machines, floating bridges, soft sketches of eyes and hands, curls of hair and spirals of water. Each one made with the same calm attention, the same love for the world's quiet design. His studio was a haven of stillness. You can almost hear the scratch of his pencil, the slow turning of a page, the deep, steady breath of a man completely at peace with his work. There is no noise, no pressure, only curiosity, only wonder. And as you rest, Leonardo's gentle genius continues to linger softly in your imagination, like the echo of a peaceful dream. Let this quiet sense of wonder stay with you, as we slowly leave his studio behind and drift onward, to another artist of the Renaissance, whose colors glowed like sunlight on stone. Let us now wander into the warm, glowing world of Raphael. Raphael, the painter of gentle harmony. Now, imagine yourself stepping gently into a bright, sunlit studio where Raphael moves with calm and purposeful hands, immersed in the quiet joy of his work. The soft glow of the morning light filters through the windows, casting a warm and peaceful glow across the room, where every brushstroke is laid down with thoughtful care and gentle precision. Raphael's world is one of harmony, a place where colors blend softly into one another, where every figure in his painting seems to rest in perfect balance with the space around them, and where the feeling of calm connection fills the air like a gentle breeze. Raphael's paintings are famous for their soft, inviting colors and their peaceful compositions. Each canvas feels like a serene garden, where the flowers and leaves have been arranged with tender attention to form and flow, inviting you to pause and breathe slowly as you take it all in. His work does not shout or demand attention. Instead, it quietly draws you in, encouraging your eyes to wander slowly from one peaceful figure to the next, each one captured in a moment of calm reflection or gentle conversation. One of Raphael's most celebrated masterpieces, The School of Athens, is a perfect example of this gentle harmony. Picture a vast hall filled with philosophers and thinkers, sitting together in soft conversation and quiet contemplation. Rather than feeling crowded or chaotic, the scene is suffused with warmth and balance, where every figure fits naturally in relation to the others, connected by an invisible thread of peaceful dialogue and mutual respect. The architectural arches above stretch like the sky itself, framing the gathering with openness and grace, while the soft light that pours in seems to caress the stone floor with a tender touch. Imagine Raphael's brush moving slowly over his palette, blending delicate shades of pinks, blues, creams, and golds, colors that flow and mingle like a gentle river beneath his fingertips. Each stroke adds depth and softness, layering warmth and light in a way that feels almost like the slow unfolding of a flower's petals at dawn. His goal was not to create dramatic contrasts or harsh lines, but to shape a world where everything belongs and flows naturally, a quiet refuge of beauty where every detail has its place and purpose. As you visualize this scene, feel the calm radiating from Raphael's gentle approach. His art teaches us that true beauty often lies in peaceful connections, between people, between light and shadow, between thought and feeling. There is a quiet power in balance, a soothing strength in the way colors and shapes can come together without struggle or tension. Now, imagine yourself seated in a tranquil gallery surrounded by Raphael's paintings. The air is cool and still, and the soft hues of his work wash over you like a lullaby sung in colors. There is no need to rush or analyze. Simply allow your eyes to rest on the serene faces, the graceful hands, the tender gestures frozen in time. These images invite you to slow your breathing, soften your thoughts, and sink gently into the peaceful harmony that Raphael created. Let the calmness of this moment settle into your body and mind, as if you were breathing in the soft light itself. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breath match the slow and deliberate pace of Raphael's brushstrokes. Let the sense of balance and quiet joy he found in his art fill your heart and steady your spirit. In this space of calm and beauty you are safe. You are held. You are connected, not only to the past but to a timeless peace that lives quietly within you. And as you prepare to leave this serene studio behind, carry with you the gentle harmony of Raphael's world, a quiet reminder that sometimes the most powerful strength comes not from force, but from softness, balance, and grace. Michelangelo, the sculptor of quiet strength. Now, as you breathe in slowly and settle deeper into comfort, allow your imagination to drift to a spacious, sunlit studio in Florence, where time seems to move more slowly, and the air is filled with the gentle scent of stone dust and warm light filtering through high windows. In the center of this calm, echoing space stands a tall, silent block of white marble, cool, solid, and untouched, waiting patiently for something beautiful to be revealed. It is here that we find Michelangelo, a thoughtful and devoted sculptor with hands as steady as his focus, and eyes that see not just what is, but what could be. To him, each block of marble held a form already hidden inside, a figure gently asleep in stone, simply waiting to be released with careful hands and quiet intention. He once said that the sculpture was already complete within the marble, and that his job was only to chip away the excess. His tools, simple and worn, sit nearby, the chisel, the mallet, instruments of transformation. But there is nothing violent in the way he works. Every tap of his hammer is measured, deliberate, almost meditative. Tiny fragments of marble fall like soft snowflakes to the ground as he moves slowly and carefully, listening not only to the sound of the stone but to something deeper, the subtle language of form, silence, and space. And from this peaceful process, over time, there emerged one of his most beloved creations, the statue of David. Rather than a figure full of noise or aggression, David stands still, captured in a moment of quiet readiness. He is strong, yes, but his strength is composed and thoughtful, not loud, not boastful. His body is relaxed yet alert, and his gaze is focused, not with tension but with clarity and calm purpose. Standing before the statue, one does not feel overwhelmed, but rather embraced by a sense of groundedness, of being present in the moment. The sculpture speaks without speaking. It communicates stillness, resilience, and a gentle reminder that courage can live in calm. Michelangelo's touch wasn't limited to marble. In one of his greatest and most patient works, he turned to paint, creating the extraordinary ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Lying on scaffolding day after day, he painted with slow, graceful brushstrokes that brought to life delicate figures, soft skies, and flowing fabrics. He didn't rush. He couldn't. The work demanded time, and he gave it year after year, layering meaning and detail with quiet determination. The scenes he painted are vast and full of movement, yet nothing feels hurried or forced. The figures seem to float with gentle energy as though suspended in a dream. The colors are rich but balanced, never jarring, never too bright. Even in the storytelling there is grace, a sense of flowing time, unfolding like a lullaby told in images. Now, close your eyes and return for a moment to that quiet workshop, the one filled with gentle light and the faint, rhythmic sound of a sculptor's chisel. The tools have now been laid to rest. The marble stands transformed. The work is done. In that stillness, in that space, you too can feel the steady, peaceful strength that lives in patience, in dedication, in softness. Michelangelo's art reminds us that great power doesn't have to roar. Sometimes, it simply stands in silence, grounded and sure. And just like the figures he revealed from stone, there is a calm strength within you as well, quiet, unwavering, and always there. Let yourself rest in that feeling for a moment longer, and when you're ready, we'll continue gently onward. Titian, the master of soft light and color. Now, as your breath becomes slower and your body more at ease, let yourself drift gently to the floating city of Venice, a place where water replaces streets and every reflection carries the warmth of sunlight dancing on the waves. Picture the soft sound of oars moving through still canals, the faint calls of gondoliers echoing from distant bridges, and the golden light of late afternoon wrapping around the quiet buildings like a gentle embrace. In the heart of this peaceful, watery world, you'll find a cozy studio with high windows and faded tapestries, a place filled with the scent of linseed oil and the faint rustle of brushes against canvas. This is the studio of Titian, one of the Renaissance's most gifted and beloved painters, whose art seems to glow from within. Known for his mastery of color and light, Titian worked with a calm, confident hand, building each image slowly with great care and deep affection. Titian didn't rush his paintings. He allowed each one to unfold gradually, like a slow sunrise spilling color across a quiet sky. His reds were warm and comforting, like the final light of day melting into the sea. His blues were deep and soft, like twilight slipping into evening. And his gold shimmered like candlelight on polished wood, not dazzling but warm, gentle, and full of life. In his portraits, Titian captured not just the likeness of his subjects, but a sense of their inner stillness, moments where their eyes seemed lost in thought, or where a slight smile played on their lips, as if they were remembering something soft and dear. There is no urgency in these faces, no demand for attention. Instead, they welcome you to pause, to breathe, and to join them in their moment of calm reflection. Imagine Titian at his easel now, his brush gliding smoothly across the surface of a canvas. The strokes are gentle, the motion slow and rhythmic, like waves lapping against a quiet shore. He leans in close, studying the way the light settles on a cheek, or how a fold of fabric catches a hint of gold. Layer by layer, he adds softness and richness, each touch bringing the image to life in the most peaceful way. He often painted scenes inspired by mythology or nature, but never in a way that felt heavy or overwhelming. Even in stories of ancient gods or classical heroes, Titian found a way to show grace, warmth, and humanity. His art speaks not in grand declarations but in soft tones, inviting you to feel, to notice, to simply be present with the colors and the quiet. Now, close your eyes and imagine walking slowly through a Venetian gallery, where Titian's paintings hang quietly on the walls. The room is quiet, filled only with the soft echo of your footsteps and the golden hush of evening light pouring through tall windows. Each painting seems to radiate warmth, a kind of still glow that soothes the mind and welcomes you to rest. Let that gentle warmth surround you now. Let it soften the edges of your thoughts and carry you into deeper calm, like the peaceful motion of a gondola rocking gently on the water. There is no hurry here. Just soft colors, slow moments, and the quiet beauty of light meeting canvas. As we leave Titian's studio, we move gently forward, to meet another Venetian painter who brought softness not only to his colors, but to the very way he viewed the world, the tender and thoughtful Giovanni Bellini. Sandro Botticelli, the poet of soft beauty. Welcome back, dear listener. As you sink more deeply into comfort, your breath becoming slower and your mind more still, allow yourself to drift once again, this time to a dreamlike world shaped by soft lines, gentle forms, and quiet grace. We are entering the tender, poetic realm of Sandro Botticelli, a painter whose art feels like a whispered lullaby, delicate, thoughtful, and full of light. Botticelli lived in Florence during the flowering of the Renaissance, but his work often seems to belong to another realm entirely, a softer world filled with myth, wonder, and gentle beauty. His paintings do not shout or dazzle. Instead, they soothe, drawing you into scenes where every petal, every face, every breeze seems to move with slow, deliberate peace. Imagine, if you will, a hidden garden in the earliest morning light. Dew sparkles softly on the petals, and a light mist hovers in the air, blurring the edges of the world in a peaceful haze. This is the kind of space that Botticelli painted, a world of gentle wonder, of elegance wrapped in silence. He brought to life the myths of ancient Greece and Rome, but he painted them not with drama or fire, but with a serene kind of reverence, as if these timeless stories were best told with a hushed voice and a still heart. One of his most beloved works is The Birth of Venus, a painting that feels more like a soft memory than a frozen image. Picture the calm sea, stretching far into the horizon under a pale sky, as Venus rises from the waves, her form bathed in a gentle golden glow. Her long hair flows like a breeze through tall grasses. Her expression is calm, distant, and full of quiet grace. Around her, soft winds stir, and flowers float gently through the air, as if time itself has slowed to honor her arrival. There is nothing rushed or loud in Botticelli's work. Every figure seems to move with calm purpose. Every fabric folds in gentle curves. Even the faces of angels and goddesses seem touched by quiet thoughtfulness, as if they are aware of your presence, but too serene to speak. Botticelli's other paintings often depict Madonnas and angels, not with grand gestures or dazzling colors, but with a warm human softness. The eyes of his Madonnas look not with intensity, but with tender affection. They feel familiar, almost as if you've met them in a peaceful dream. His angels were gentle smiles, their wings curved delicately, their hands held in positions of calm blessing or gentle offering. Now, close your eyes and imagine yourself strolling slowly through a quiet Florentine chapel, where Botticelli's paintings line the walls in soft light. There is no sound, except perhaps the distant rustle of wind outside, or the quiet tapping of your footsteps on old stone. The paintings seem to hum with a kind of still music, not made of notes but of light, color, and form. They invite you not just to look but to feel calm, wonder, and a quiet kind of joy. His art reminds us that beauty need not be loud or bold to be powerful. Sometimes, it is the gentle, the whispered, and the softly spoken that stay with us the longest. So now, let Botticelli's tender vision settle gently in your thoughts, like petals drifting slowly onto still water. Let them soothe the mind and quiet the breath. There is peace in every gentle detail, and in Botticelli's world, there is always room for one more slow moment of reflection. Now, still wrapped in the calm of his art, let us drift onward to one final chapter, a look at the Renaissance itself and the gentle legacy these artists left behind. Andrea del Verrocchio, the teacher's gentle touch. Now, as your body settles further into stillness and your breath becomes even slower, let your imagination take you to a quiet workshop in the heart of Renaissance Florence. A peaceful place where light falls softly through high windows and the gentle rhythm of tools tapping on wood and stone fills the air like a quiet lullaby. This is the studio of Andrea del Verrocchio, a sculptor, painter, and teacher whose work and presence brought calm focus to all who stepped into his world. His studio was not a place of rushing or noise, but of careful hands, thoughtful eyes, and the soft unfolding of talent, one gentle moment at a time. Imagine walking slowly through the studio, past shelves lined with brushes, jars of paint, smooth blocks of marble, and sketches pinned neatly to the walls. The air smells faintly of sawdust and oils, earthy, warm, familiar. It is in this space that Verrocchio patiently guided his students, not with sternness or command, but with a gentle touch and steady heart. Among those young students was a boy named Leonardo da Vinci, curious, observant, and filled with wonder. Under Verrocchio's kind mentorship, Leonardo learned not just how to draw or sculpt, but how to see the world through calm, attentive eyes. Verrocchio would point to the way light touches a curve, or how a shadow moves gently across a surface, and he would say, "Look again. Look deeper." His voice was never rushed, never sharp, always warm, like a quiet invitation to discover something beautiful just beneath the surface. Imagine the teacher and student side by side at a wooden table, sketching quietly, The only sounds the faint brush of charcoal on paper or the soft scraping of a chisel on stone. The room is filled not with noise, but with possibility, with learning that feels as natural and gentle as the flow of a stream. Verrocchio's greatest gift was not just his art, but the way he nurtured others to find their own, with patience, respect, and quiet encouragement. His own sculptures, like the gentle bronze of Christ and St. Thomas, carry that same tenderness. The figures do not shout or demand attention. Instead, they stand in still conversation with subtle gestures and peaceful expressions. There is a calm wisdom in their posture, a sense that the sculptor shaped them not just with skill, but with understanding. And in his paintings too there is a balance, a soft glow of harmony between form and color. Verrocchio's works may not be as famous as some of his students, but they hum with a quiet elegance, a kind of invisible kindness woven into every detail. Now, picture yourself sitting quietly in that old workshop, perhaps on a stool in the corner, watching the golden light fall across sketches and sculptures. You feel safe here, unrushed and gently inspired. The presence of a kind teacher lingers in the air, one who would never push or scold, but simply guide you to notice what you may have missed, to try again with a little more care, a little more heart. As you breathe slowly, let this spirit of gentle guidance and calm learning settle into you. Feel the warmth of quiet mentorship, the kind that trusts your journey, honors your pace, and sees the beauty in your becoming. There is strength in softness, and in Verrocchio's world, creativity grows not through pressure, but through patience. Let this final moment of stillness wrap around you like a soft cloth, and carry with you the peace that comes from being seen, supported, and gently led. Giorgione, the dreamy painter of Venice. Now, as the night deepens and your breath becomes slower and softer, allow your thoughts to drift toward the quiet beauty of Venice, a city unlike any other. Here, the streets are made of water, and the air is filled with the soft lapping of waves and the occasional echo of a gondola gliding silently beneath the bridges. In this hushed world of mist and moonlight lived a painter named Giorgione, a quiet, poetic soul who painted not just what he saw but what he felt. His works are like dreams captured on canvas, moments of mystery and emotion wrapped in soft colors and gentle shadows. Imagine stepping into one of his paintings, a tranquil landscape where the edges of the world seem to blur just slightly, where twilight lingers and time slows to a peaceful hush. The colors are muted as if softened by distance or memory, deep greens, dusty blues, warm golds, all blending like a sigh on the breeze. In the distance, a figure stands quietly beneath a tree or sits beside a stream, lost in thought. There are no loud moments here, no bright lights or dramatic scenes, only calm, quiet presence. Giorgione didn't paint with sharp lines or grand declarations. Instead, he let the mood speak for itself, a hazy light filtering through trees, the hint of a story left untold, the stillness of figures caught between waking and dreaming. His most famous painting, The Tempest, holds this feeling perfectly. A man and a woman appear in a landscape touched by mystery. There's a storm in the sky, but it doesn't threaten. It simply exists, like a thought that hasn't yet formed into words. As you relax deeper, picture yourself gliding gently through the Venetian canals, the buildings on either side rising like ancient guardians, their reflections shimmering quietly on the water. The moon hangs low, casting silver patterns across the rippling surface. Along the walls of an open gallery that floats beside you, Giorgione's works appear, softly illuminated, like windows into a dream. Each painting invites you not to analyze but to feel, to pause, to breathe, to sink gently into the quiet space between imagination and reality. Giorgione understood that some beauty cannot be explained, only experienced in stillness, like watching fog roll across a distant hill or hearing the last notes of a lullaby carried on the evening wind. There is something deeply comforting about this, a reminder that not everything must be known or named. That peace too can be a mystery, soft and sacred without needing to be solved. In his short life, Giorgione left behind only a small number of paintings, but each one seems to glow from within, as if lit by the gentle light of an early morning or a fading day. He didn't seek fame or fortune. He simply painted the world as he felt it, quietly, tenderly, as if offering each image like a gift to be discovered slowly over time. Now let this dreamy vision of Venice remain with you. The calm water, the gentle shadows, the soft echo of footsteps on distant stone. Let Giorgione's art surround you like a warm mist, blurring the edges of thought and guiding you ever deeper into rest. There is no need to understand, to question, or to hold on. Simply breathe, gently, and let the soft mystery of this quiet painter's world carry you farther into the calm and the comfort of sleep. The artist's quiet legacy, a timeless piece. Now, as the final moments of this gentle journey draw near, let yourself drift into a quiet garden where the soft light of twilight lingers in the air, wrapping the world in a warm, silvery calm. The sky above glows with fading hues, pale gold, soft lavender, and the deepening blue of approaching night. In this peaceful space, imagine the great artists of the Renaissance gathered once more. Leonardo with eyes full of wonder and thoughts that float like clouds. Michelangelo, calm and grounded, quietly watching the shapes of the world. Raphael, serene and balanced, carrying a deep peace within. Titian, glowing with warmth, surrounded by colors that whisper like music. And all the others, Verrocchio, Giorgione, Donatello, their presence soft but steady like old trees in the evening breeze. They are not speaking loudly. There is no rush, just stillness, a shared silence filled with understanding, creativity, and quiet strength. Their work, though centuries old, still lives, not through noise or spectacle, but through the gentle power of presence. A painting, a sculpture, a sketch, each one a tender offering, a pause in time, a soft breath from the past that touches us even now. The Renaissance is often remembered as a moment of brilliance, of genius and discovery. But beneath all that light was something more delicate, a slow unfolding of care, of patience, of watching and wondering and gently shaping. These artists didn't hurry. They listened, to marble, to light, to silence. And in that listening they created works that still soothe us, still move us, still remind us of the beauty in simply being. Now, as you lie quietly, feel that timeless peace settle around you. You too carry within you that same ability to observe with care, to create gently, to move slowly through the world with attention and grace. Let this garden remain in your imagination, a place you can return to whenever you need rest, a place where ideas grow like soft petals, and inspiration floats like the scent of jasmine on the wind, where there is no need to do, no pressure to become, only the quiet joy of being here now in stillness. Breathe in deeply and softly, and as you exhale, imagine the soft voices of these artists, not instructing but gently encouraging, reminding you that wonder lives in the smallest things. That peace is not found in rushing ahead, but in pausing and truly seeing. Thank you for walking through this slow, tender journey with me tonight, through the studios and gardens of a time long past, where beauty bloomed in silence and creativity grew in the quiet corners of the soul. May the soft light of these artists' lives fill your dreams. May their calm hands guide you into rest. And may their legacy, one of stillness, care, and gentle observation, live on in you. You are safe. You are held. And you are ready now to fall softly into sleep. Good night, dear listener. Sleep well and let peace surround you like a warm and endless sky.